right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Vision and Impact. I am your host, Sharissa, and today's episode is all about a topic that I am personally very obsessed with, which is sleep. If you know me, you know I'm tracking it, optimizing it, and I still can't seem to crack the perfect code on getting that perfect restfulness score on my Aura Ring. So when I came across a brand called Night Night, a sleep-focused supplement brand founded by a former pro athlete, I had to try it, and I had to bring him here on the show. So joining me is Jannik Freese, CEO and co-founder of Night Night. He's here to talk about how sleep became his North Star and how he's cutting through the noise in the supplement space. And now they're building a wellness brand with a purpose. So let's get into it. Hi.
Thanks for the intro and thanks for having me.
Of course, let's jump into it. I want to get into a little bit about your background and your journey as a pro athlete and how it eventually led you into the wellness space.
Yeah, so I basically played pro most of my adult life. So I signed my first contract at 18, played 15 years, mostly in Germany and then European competitions. So there's Euro Cup, EuroLeague, which is like the European equivalent of NBA, I would suggest. As far as how it led me into wellness and sleep. So basically being a pro athlete, like training is one thing, but if you ever been on a bus or if you ever been at a hotel or anywhere with pro athletes, you're going to see these guys literally sleep all the time. So on the plane, on the bus, in the hotels, like it's just constantly sleep because your body is so exhausted. That's kind of, how sleep became really important in my life. While practice is super scheduled, super, defined on what you're doing every day, sleep is kind of, you're kind of on your own because nobody's really watching you at 10, 11 p.m. at night to see if you're doing the right thing. So yeah, so that kind of got me into this, just thinking about sleep and recovery in a broader space.
Awesome. So let's talk about the product Night Night. What exactly is it and who did you design it for?
So the product Night Night is basically, it came to me 13 years ago, like the base of it, I would say. So I've been using it for 13 years. My former trainer and nutritionist in Germany introduced me to what is now the base of Night Night. And I've been taking it faithfully for, the longest time. And then when I retired from basketball, I started working in finance, and finance, just like sports, is very tough on your body, but there actually people do not sleep. People are struggling to recover. So I actually had a lot of coworkers, like even like other people. I had meetings where legit they found out about my background and everybody was kind of focused on the recovery aspect because there's not that much sleep in the finance world. So I kind of gave, the ones who asked, given my opinion about, certain supplements, certain sleep routines I've built for myself that I found good for me. And some took advantage of it and some didn't. And then I got really good feedback. And then I ended up, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, to meet the best nutritionist in Germany. His name is Michael Dama. He's in Hamburg, Germany. And I've worked with him throughout my professional career. And I just came to him and be like, okay, I know this base works for me. And then he's also a big fan of that base. But I want to have a little bit of a broader approach. So I want to add things that I found important. Been blessed to, play for many different teams. So I see many different good doctors. There were some things every doctor kind of was specialized about, but some things were just the same with every doctor. So things like zinc, for example, was like, for me, it was really important to put that in there just based off my experience with it and based off what all these doctors basically talked about. And so we went, through the whole recipe and kind of through the whole supplementation, palette and see what is the best for adding to that core of Night Night. So that's kind of how we ended up with this mix ingredient list.
Yeah, and I feel like you can work out, you can eat clean, you can take all the supplements in the world, you can drink all your water, but if your sleep isn't working, your body's not going to repair. So then your brain won't reset, and then your performance, mental or physical, will hit a wall.
100%. So if I don't sleep, my next day is tough. Like I'm craving lots of sugar. God, I'm like, it's just something our body does. I'm really not focused, and I'm having a tough time. I can have a productive day while not eating that healthy for that day. Obviously, in the long run, it's also going to get back to you. But if I have a bad night rest, it's going to be really tough for me to recover that day. So I put a lot of emphasis on my sleep for sure.
Yeah, I mean, lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it hijacks your entire day. Your focus gone, your patience, then your cravings through the roof usually. Decision making usually isn't the best. So that kind of leads me into the next question of what makes night night different from all the other sleep supplements that are already on the market.
So we're trying to get on a broader sense. So we're not focused really on sedating you and kind of knock you out doing whenever you want to go to sleep, but it's more about nourishing your body and supporting your body's natural rest phase. And also, we don't want to use melatonin or any sort of, ingredient that kind of our body produces ourselves. So, while I was doing research for Night Night, I talked to different sleep doctors. I talked to other nutritionists as well. And also a very common theme now is that whole melatonin hype we had in the past couple of years, while I think people were getting more focused on sleep, it was really, not beneficial for the customer to take it every night. Like it's not something that that's going to help you recover. It's something that sedates your body and puts you to sleep. You know, if the end goal of the nighttime rest is just going to sleep, okay, but the end goal is really, like relaxing and recharging and using that sleep to be ready for the next day. And I'm pretty sure you heard about like melatonin hangovers, etc. So yeah, we didn't want to like we wanted like really natural ingredients, and we wanted to stay as far away from melatonin as possible.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of sleep products rely on melatonin as kind of that quick fix, but I do feel like it isn't a long-term solution. I feel like it definitely can mess with your body's ability to regulate sleep naturally.
Yeah, so like you said, it's a quick fix, and I mean it's easy. It's gonna put you to sleep, but also I think our body produces zero point 0.3 milligram like naturally, and I think some of these products have 5 milligram in it, 3 milligram, whatever. So it's also not healthy to overdose on these kind of things.
Yeah, definitely. Can you give us like your top 5 products or I guess what you use in this mixture that you have found to be the most beneficial and why you chose those ingredients?
So I mean the most obvious is obviously magnesium. So we did a mix of glycinate and malate. It supports the calming of your nervous system, helps with relaxing your muscles, etc. So that was definitely number one. For me, it was important to put zinc in there, which is not really for sleep, but it's more for your supports your immune system, etc. So that's one thing. L-glycine and inositol were very important to me. Like that they just support your deep rest, etc. And also one thing that was also important to me was electrolytes, because we do, even though we might not see it, we do lose a lot of water liquid at night. So having electrolytes in your body, or no, like you know getting electrolytes in your body before you go to sleep actually wakes you up with a better level of electrolytes in your body, even though you're losing water while you sleep. So I would say I find all of them important. Vitamin B6 just as important as everything else. But if you ask me for 4 or 5 ingredients, that would be probably it.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, all of those are clinically backed, nutrient dense ingredients that really help your body do what it's meant to do: rest, recover, and wake up feeling actually restored. I love that there's no grogginess, no dependency, and there's not any ingredients messing with your hormones because ultimately the goal isn't just to fall asleep, it's to also optimize your sleep, which there's a big difference in that.
100%. And we wanted to make sure it's as good as possible, as good as anybody can make it. So no extra fillers or some. So we try to make it as natural as possible, and like it's all natural now. So I guess we did a good job. And yeah, also the taste was a big thing because it is designed to take it every night before you go to sleep. So I tried a few others and I really didn't like the taste of it. And so actually we got 100% good feedback on the taste so far. So I'm pretty, even though taste is very different for everybody else, but everybody seems to like the taste.
I've been drinking it every night for the past 4 nights. And I do attest that the taste is very, very good. And I genuinely enjoy it. It's like my nighttime wine. So I'd say it's like my substitution for a glass of wine, which has been really nice.
That's what we're going for. We actually like our claim really is more to become what the coffee is in the morning, to become that, routine for the nighttime. So kind of something that kicks off your nighttime routine. And I'm actually really glad you ordered it before we started recording this so you can really attest how you feeling, how does it help you. And obviously some customers felt something right away, some customers a week or two. Everybody is different. But I'm glad you have some positive effects of it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nice to just have that nighttime cocktail. I've been mixing it with sparkling water. So it definitely has I don't know, just a fun little zing to it. I really like the flavor. And so far, so good. My sleep scores have been pretty good ever since I started. So let's keep it up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your 30-day sleep score
Yep.
average and let's see what we can do.
Yep. Awesome. So I want to hear from you what the ideal pre-sleep routine looks like. If you could tell our viewers what is most important, what would you say?
So actually your pre-sleep routine to me starts in the morning. So for me, it's really important to out of the house as soon as like there's some sunlight and, generally look in the direction of the sun, like obviously not into the sun, like that's dangerous, but like get some sunlight, get exposed to sunlight. That's actually, just looking at your circadian rhythm. It's actually super helpful for what's going to happen at night because then my sleep routine I go to sleep pretty early because I wake up pretty early. So usually around 9 o'clock, I try to be somewhat in the mid of falling asleep or actually getting there. So I actually take a glass of night at like 8:30, like 45 minutes before I go to sleep. And I stay away from all my computer screens. Like obviously we gotta be realistic. Sometimes we all will be on our phone. So I actually have a red light. It's a red light or gray light adjustment on my phone. So I just gotta triple click the off button and my phone is completely like red and like Instagram is not as fun anymore, but I can answer emails, I can text on, text message, WhatsApp, whatever. Because I mean, we still want to interact with some friends or just check some emails. So it's not ideal, but it's also I'm being realistic. But then I'm trying to get away from the phone. Maybe, you know, I like a podcast here and there, but I also like just to read a book, dim the lights a little bit, read a book, reflect on your day, like, just these kind of things. Just stay away from as many screens as possible and kind of just calm down once you hit, some people like stretching. I did that before as well, but I would rather just want to go to sleep or like go to bed and lay down, read a little bit, just having something really calming and soothing. And then kind of like that's how I kind of initiate my sleep.
Yeah. And could you dig into a little bit more about circadian rhythms and really what it is and what it's telling our bodies?
I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I can dig in super deep, but like it's basically the rhythm your body has that kind of, balances out. So in the morning,
Okay. So, what would you say are some long term consequences of poor sleep that people might not even be aware of?
I mean, long term, I mean, there's been a lot of studies now on long term consequences. So I've seen, a risk of like Alzheimer's or like just, like dementia, like those risks were higher of people that didn't have the proper, nighttime rest. There's been, inflammation, like chronic inflammation, like a hormonal imbalance. So like these are all studies that have been done like long term. Obviously, like heart disease, etc. So it's a good mix of everything. Like sleep is basically the base of our health. I would say it's a big superpower we have, where you go to sleep super tired and you wake up 8 hours later ready to take on the day. Like I don't know that many functions. I mean, obviously our body is amazing as a whole, but I think sleep has just a big impact. And in the last 5 years, probably it has just been getting more attention because I feel like it's been neglected probably in the last 50 years.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like you can cheat sleep for maybe one night, maybe two. But once it starts to hit around 3 or 4 days, the cost really gets real and it starts to add up fast. And it's more than just feeling groggy. It's long term effects, like you were saying, like the cognitive decline, immune system problems. I've also heard of weight gain being a problem with sleep problems, and then also hormone imbalances.
Yeah, for sure. These were all studies done on like long and short term. I mean, I'm short term. I know like my energy is low. Like, I'm more prone to get a cold, etc. So obviously, sugar cravings is big. So if I really just slept 3 4 hours for whatever reason, I know the next day my body just constantly craves all kind of sugary things, and so it's real. It's
Yeah, it's really interesting how long of an effect sleep does really have on us. And I do feel like sleep is having a major cultural moment right now. Everybody's very in tune with sleep and they're trying to figure out how they can sleep better. Maybe it's some of the data, maybe I don't know what it is, but what trends would you say you're paying attention to when it comes to just sleep in general?
I mean, I think the trend, like now you mentioned, you're tracking your sleep and things like that. So people are actually more aware of how well they're sleeping. And like I'm not the biggest sleep tracker because like sometimes we just will not have a good night and then we watch, or maybe not the best night, and then we focus so much on that data. But overall, I think people just in general are more aware of sleep and rest. And there's been a lot of like influential people. Matthew Walker is big on he's a sleep doctor. Huberman had a huge, impact on sleep. He talks about it a lot. He talks actually with Matthew Walker. He has a special series. I think it's 5 or 6 episodes. So I think all these things adding up to, sleep trends. There's like, now all these, mattresses where you can actually change, the temperatures, etc. So there's all these helpful gimmicks that better your sleep because like people realize, okay, we can just do so much during the day and we can only go so hard and work that much. But actually the real efficiency hack is getting a good night rest and watching, what we do, what we put in our body before we sleep. Like a late meal, is also not that like efficient for your sleep. You're gonna have less of a sleep quality. I don't know if you ever tracked it, but you have a steak meal at 11 p.m. or something, you probably won't have the best night rests. Yeah, I think overall, like I think sleep is the wellness trend right now, as a whole. And I think there's a lot of aspects to sleep. Obviously, it's not just supplementations. It's a routine. Sleep is very complex for everybody, but that's just where we want to come in and kind of go with the nourishment and supplementation and see how far we can go with that while adding other things to, our sleep brand or recovery focus brand.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me into like what you feel like your long-term vision for Night Night is. Like, what do you hope it becomes one day?
I mentioned earlier, so for me, kind of the vision is kind of what coffee is in the morning. Like that, we want to become that routine. So we want to become that brand that you go to, and that is like your, go-to pre-sleep Kickstarter where that you trust. You know what you're putting in your body. We don't have any proprietary blends, so like these things, we just want to be as or we want to be super transparent. And therefore, our vision is becoming that brand that is focused on your night, that helps you with your sleep, that supports everything from recovery to rest, and grow from there. We're starting off with the supplement, and we'll see where we go. What from the feedback from our customers, where there's a need, an actual need we can help with. we can find a solution for and then grow from there.
Yeah, yeah. And I love what you guys have done so far. Right now, from a design and branding standpoint, Night Night looks very premium but simple. And so, what was the vision behind that look and feel?
So one, obviously I wanted something in the color of like nighttime skin. So we worked with, the purples, etc. So then finding a name is not easy for anything. But also at the same time, you kind of make, the name will get its own character throughout, your life, your branding, your marketing, etc. So but I still wanted some kind of story to it. So I figured Night Night, like night, you already know what's going on. Okay, it's a nighttime product, and then the night, with a K is actually, it symbolized something strong, like something like that's been used for historically for just showcasing strength and resilience and just being ready for battle and kind of if you want to put it in a in a perspective, like just becoming that person while you're resting. So, it's okay to rest, it's okay to recover. Then we wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So like not didn't want to put too much. As you can see, the packaging is pretty much, very simple, very, keep it light. Don't want to like put too many like slogans on it, etc. So keep it very, very light, keep it very transparent, like that's like I said earlier, like, just focus on what's in there, know exactly how many milligrams are in there, and just, like have fun with the whole design. So yeah, we wanted it to be chic, but at the same time, like simple and then kind of like premium feel to it.
Yeah, and if you guys are watching our live stream, I will put up what it looks like here, and you'll see that Night Night is a perfect example of a clean and minimal packaging design. You can tell the product is high quality, it's modern, it's intentional, it's thoughtfully made, and it's not trying to scream with bold claims. It's very quietly confident, I would say. And something that we've been seeing a lot in the marketing world is that shifts that we're seeing in wellness branding. There's less pharmacy aisle and more lifestyle shelf. So the brands that are really winning right now are brands that make you feel like like they're part of your routine before you even open the jar. So packaging is a big part of experience, from the texture of the bottle, the typography, to the color palette. It's all saying something before the product ever does. So start with the bottle, and that's the first step to branding. So good job on Night Night, because it looks amazing.
Thank you.
What would you say is the most challenging part of launching this wellness brand?
Good questions. I mean, obviously challenging, just creating awareness, like who we are, like building trust. Like obviously the people that know me personally and I have trust with, obviously they had trust buying the brand, but also just building trust to the community, build like finding trust of who you are, who you were, kind of what led you to it. I would say just getting the word out, building trust, and reaching as many people as possible while, not just trying to make any claims, but actually, being patient, because I want somebody like you to use it and feel amazing about it and then talk to your friend about it. Like that's way better for me than just paying for an ad, that's heavily targeted in a certain region or demographic, and and just try to see who buys it. And like I really want that word of mouth. Like my mom, for example, loves the product. She literally like is my highest like marketing machine, I would say. Like she's like aunts and uncles bought it, etc. Like so that's kind of more like it's rather growing slow and sustainable through word of mouth than just trying to make any claims just for people to buy it and stuff. So I really believe in the product. Like I said, I've been using the base for 13 years. So I rather want the customer to experience it and then talk to their friends about it than just push it on the market and hope people like it.
Yeah, and I feel like the most underrated marketing strategy in the game is word of mouth. because we're living in this world flooded with ads and influencers and algorithms, but nothing really converts like trust does. And so when somebody tells you, I tried this and it actually works, that hits different. That's not even marketing, that's credibility. So
100%.
yeah. So for brands and wellness and supplements, I mean, skepticism is super high and customer loyalty is, I feel like it's hard earned. So word of mouth is everything because not an ad isn't necessarily going to work right off the bat, especially in the early stages.
For sure, yeah. We're not really focused on it. Like we started to talk to influencers, but in the health and wellness space, but also we wanted them to try it first, and be a fan of the product and not just ship them a product and say, hey, can you make a quick video? So we actually want to partner with them, find the ones that really love the product and then go, have some campaigns and these kind of things later. But that's why we've been on the market maybe for around like 2 months now, but we really rather focus on that slow and steady growth than just like I said, just pushing it out of not being transparent, just paying people to post about it. Like that's not what we want to do. And I don't really believe in that kind of growth. Like, yeah, it's okay to go viral, but like you really want to have a sustainable growth that's based on real life experience and real life reviews and, trust at the end of the day. Cause it's a product you take every night. So, you need to have that trust in the product, obviously.
Yeah. And that's the type of growth that's slow at first, but unstoppable long term because you can't buy trust. You really have to build it. And the good thing is that when a product is good, it spreads. It's organically, it's quietly, it's very authentic. So you guys are doing a good job because great products don't need to scream. They just need to deliver and the people will talk for them.
For sure. Yeah, I agree.
So, Jannik, where can people find the product and follow along with what you're building?
So we are online on gonightnight.com. So it's go night and then the second night with a K. Our actual website will be done by the end of this month. So there will be more insights, reviews, etc. Kind of build everything off a landing page first. And now actually having the real website going live. Also then finishing our kind of like pre-sale with the new website. And then we're on Instagram at go_night. So we're building up all that content. So because what we really want to do is build content through education of sleep, kind of what we just talked about earlier at the very beginning of this podcast, just building more awareness about sleep routines and just letting the customer just, somebody who's interested in sleep routines just get into our page with actually valuable content about, all these things, sleep, rest, recovery related.
Awesome. And right now they are doing a pre-sale for $10 off. So if anybody wants to try out the product themselves, it's a great product. I highly recommend. Great way to kick off your nighttime sleep routine. So the numbers will tell. And hopefully in a few weeks, I can come back and say that the numbers have just been gradually increasing. But I want to close it off with any advice that you would give other founders building in our wellness and even health industry.
I mean, I think the number one thing is like find really it sounds cliche, but find something really what you love, because especially what I just talked about, like slow growth, it takes time and it's a lot of hurdles. It's a lot of, headaches, etc. So you want to have something you're really passionate about because it's going to overtake a whole, part of your life and days. So also I'm come from team sport. So having a team around you that you like to be around, to me, is the number one thing. Like I want to, like, my team that I work with, I've, three co-founders. So it's two guys in Germany and then, one Esmeralda, she's in New York. Jens is in Hamburg and Max is in Berlin. So it's actually something I enjoy our calls. I enjoy our camaraderie. I enjoy our vision and things like that. Like I didn't want to be a sole founder, just being by myself and in a WeWork and just trying to figure it out. So I love my team. I love working with them. So actually finding that team, I think it's a big thing. And yeah, I mean, don't try to be like this silly person, like trying to serve your customer, find them something that you really believe in, that you would really sell to your mom, like because you really believe in it. So like I would say those like the top three things as a founder, like just having those three can lead you a long way and doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, Jannik, for all your information. And what the team and Jannik are doing isn't just about selling a supplement. It's about rewriting the narrative about recovery, routine, and actual rest by using really high quality ingredients and ditching the quick fixes and actually building a brand and rooted intention. And so if you're tired of being tired, this is your sign to take your sleep seriously. You can learn more about Night Night at gonightnight.com. It's GONIGHTKNIGHT.com. And we'll have everything linked in the show notes. As always, if this episode gave you something to think about, share it with a friend, drop a review, and don't forget to subscribe. We have more health tech and wellness innovators coming your way. I'm Sharissa, and I'll catch you next time.